Hey guys, it's ExandShadow, and welcome back to Let's Play Trauma Center New Blood. In the last part, we operated on a dog. And in this part, oh look at that, we're finally gonna find out who the bad guy of this area is. Huh. Kinda doofy looking if you ask me. I mean, they kinda make it pretty obvious who's supposed to be evil, instead of actually making it sort of a morally ambiguous situation. You know, he might actually have good points. He might be the guy on the right. The government might just be wrong here, but, you know, they give them the evil eyes and the scary goatee and the grrr. You give them that look, you know, it sort of destroys the moral ambiguity that you might have had. And what was that stupid red thing on his hat? I don't know what this game is trying to do anymore.
Must be cut short, doctors. This area has become a danger zone. The guerrillas have taken Wanadeo base. The government is launching a campaign to win it back.
It's not like we're going to actually need medics or something. That would just be
It's been
stupid.
kept confidential for strategic reasons. But according to our intelligence, Major General Ramirez has double-crossed us. Unbelievable.
Yes, it's unbelievable that that character who we've never met could do that thing that we wouldn't expect him to do, which would have shocked us if we knew anything about what was going on in this situation. Okay, trying to cut the game some slack here. I mean, I guess it's trying to show how out of touch the doctors are with the rest of the world by throwing them into this situation where they know nothing. They know nothing about what's going on. But first off, we're shown that the doctors are totally in the moral right here, which means that it doesn't matter what's going on, the doctors are right anyway. And second off, because of that, we don't have any emotional attachment to what's going on because we don't know anything. So either you've got to have moral ambiguity all around, or make us care about what's going on if you're just going to keep things relatively simple, you know? You can't really meet halfway in this instance. I think that's sort of sloppy storytelling in that case.
First, you agree to use the profits earned by the mine to help stigma patients.
Instead of using it to actually end the war, which in the end would probably save more lives.
Then that shouldn't be a problem. Secondly, you must transport all injured combatants, friend or foe, to us.
Okay, that's a relatively reasonable request. I mean, granted, you know, it's overly idealistic of Marcus, but, you know, it seems like something that they do, you know, treat everybody who got hurt, even people that are on the other side, you know? Especially since this is a civil war type of deal, and it's not like the other side is like an enemy, you know, it's somebody who came from your country. And I understand in that situation, people are a little bit more, I don't want to say lenient, but maybe a little bit more compassionate to the other side of a combat. That's at least what I've seen in other Civil War instances. But then again, this is fiction, and written by Japanese people, who probably don't know anything about South American culture, but, you know, I'm trying to give the game credit where I can, you know?
It's detestable, but I'm afraid it's a reality of the world we live in.
You guys are doctors. Your job is to fix people who get shot like this. Do you think that the bullet just magically appears in them when you're operating on them? You know, I understand that, you know, the brutality of war, something that you see, scars you for life, etc., but you think that they would have had at least a better idea of what's going on here, due to the fact that they deal with this sort of thing every day. It's their job to fix hurt people. Did they ever start to think about how they got hurt? Because, you know, that might be a little bit important, you know, just a little.
We'll just have to deal with it. Come on.
So anyway, this operation that we're coming up with right here is, guess what? Another gauntlet mission.
No one's gonna die.
You get a lot of these by the end of the game, so have fun with that. Anyway, just to save time, I am speeding up this gauntlet mission for a few reasons. First of all, these different sections of the operations we've all seen before. We have done skin grafting before, so really there's no point in showing off this section at normal speed. The thing about this gauntlet mission is not anything new, but more that you gotta do it as fast as you can. And the thing is that the tedious thing about this gauntlet mission is that it's relatively long procedures we're doing every time. Like, for example, we're starting off on a skin grafting mission, which, if you remember from the infamous Rousseau section where I got really upset, that can take quite a long time. If you're not good at it, it can take a full 5 minutes. So, yeah, this is, you're gonna need to get really good at the skin grafting if you want to get past this, but I'm just speeding it up just because of how long this takes. This mission took me 11 minutes to complete, and that's, sort of an achievement considering that there's only 10 minutes on the clock. Obviously, it was because of loading screens and stuff like that, which don't actually take off the clock, but you get my drift. Anyway, all of these missions, it's stuff that we've done before, so there's really no point in dawdling on it. Yeah, like this one, we've got more shotgun shells, you know, nothing special. Again, I'm just speeding this up just to get this over with, because while it's a fun mission to do, you know, it's just your standard first aid stuff, but, you know, there's some pressure because of the time limit. You know, the game's just naturally fun to play, so I enjoy it. Great music, all that, yada yada yada, but just watching over this entire thing all over again, stuff we've already done and have done multiple times before, for a good, like, 12 minutes isn't fun, so please forgive me if you actually wanted to see the excruciatingly long mission, but I'm speeding it up for your sake and for mine, so yeah. There was just your standard cuts and glass, so there was some hidden blood shadows, so those are annoying as always. And here we've got a ribcage reconstruction mission. There isn't a whole lot of bone reconstruction in in New Blood. They definitely expand upon this idea in Trauma Team, but in this case, it's actually the same exact puzzle each time you have to repair the ribcage, which kind of makes the puzzle sort of redundant if you just can memorize the order in which to put down the pieces, you know. Anyway, this heart part is the last operation to do. You just need to take care of the shadow, so just keep an eye on your vitals and you should be fine. Anyway, this mission, it's just a matter of basically your raw speed. Taking a few hits to vitals just to get things done faster is actually a reasonable strategy here. So, keep that in mind. It's just raw speed there, so that's why I sped it up. I didn't want to commentate over 10 minutes of that. You didn't want to watch 10 minutes of that. It's just, everybody wins, you know, win-win-win. What can I say?
Don't let him escape. We must capture him and ascertain the truth.
The truth? The truth? You can't handle the truth. Probably because the truth isn't really that interesting in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, so, I wonder what happened to that guy who we only saw once, but we know is evil because he's evil. Yeah. And was it an intentional decision to make that base look like the Capitol building? I can't be the only one who sees that resemblance, and maybe it's symbolic of something. And of course, wait, why are we having the injured dog do this? Don't we have other dogs? I thought that dogs were like an important cultural symbol in this country. Shouldn't we have at least a few other ones? I mean, granted, you don't want to make a new picture, I understand that, but I'm just trying to think from a logic perspective here.
Dr. Blaylock, Elena, I want to thank you all.
Because now that you're gone, I'm totally going to be able to handle this all on my own, even though you haven't seen my operational skills, and the one time when I did have to do something, I got sick and almost died. Yeah, we don't have a very good grasp of your competency here, Maria. Just saying.
I'll leave it to you to make sure he keeps his promise.
Oh yes, leave the intern in charge of making sure that the president keeps his job and keeps his promises. Yeah, that'll work. That's like if I went to the president and said, "Hey, President Obama, you owe that guy $5 from that bet on the football game last night. If you don't do it, what can I do? Crap. I'm just an intern who doesn't have any power or standing at all. Fuck."
Just kill me. I want to hear everything you know about the guerrilla forces.
Oh, yeah, I guess we should talk about this guy being covered in blood and shit. I don't know, yeah, if he has a liver injury, but that doesn't really explain being covered in fucking blood. It's just, ugh. Diseases are very strange in this world. I mean, granted, that's to be expected considering guilt and stigma and shit, but, eh. And for some reason, the Kidman people are here. Don't know why Kidman's people are here, but they are. Huh. And they're still wearing their stupid fucking masks and their stupid fucking wigs, too.
So Kidman is behind the stigma outbreak?
Oh, of course he's behind the stigma outbreak. Who else do we know that has control of stigma? Who did we explicitly hear saying that they were going to sell stigma as a chemical weapon? Stupid, stupid, stupid! You have a PhD! How can you be this dumb?
Impossible. He's already dead.
Oh yes, he's dead, as we can tell because he still has that stupid mask. Huh.
They're both
Well, at least we won't have to put up with the stupid pink hair anymore. That's a plus.
We may have to consider a transplant.
If that's the case, then let's be prepared for it.
Be prepared for what?
Elena, get the cross-match ready and bring
A
Kidman's
liver
body
transplant?
into the room.
You kind of need a liver for that. And you're going to use the liver from the dead guy? That hasn't been clean, hasn't been tested. You don't even know if they're the same blood type. Has liver transplant technology really increased so much in the past years that you can do a liver transplant right then and there with an unclean, unsanitary body without the proper equipment and location? Doesn't an organ transplant take like hours and hours of time and is incredibly dangerous even under optimal circumstances?
Why do you morally object to using an
I mean, I guess we haven't done a transplant operation yet, and that'd be something cool and shit, but again, logic is just going out the window. It's times like these where I actually wish I did know some medicine so I could wonder, is this right? Is this right? Is this right? Because to the uneducated public, i.e. me, you know, it sometimes sounds like they're just throwing sciencey words out of their ass so that they can just justify whatever the fuck they want to throw at us as our next mission. Anyway, the thing about this transplant mission that's actually sort of interesting, you put the liver there. That's relatively simple. It's just drag and drop. Anyway, what you do is, all of the tubes in the background that you see, the green tube, the red tube, the yellow tube, and the blue tube, they're not just background. What you need to do is, you need to make you have to use that medicine there, make an incision, and then attach it back, and then attach the little connecty thing into the liver. Every time you successfully do that, your patient's max vitals will increase. Like here, our max vitals is somewhere around 40, but since we attached the blue thing, the max is somewhere more around 50-ish. It's not very clear where the actual start is. So basically what you want to do is you want to complete the transfer as quick as possible so you have as much leeway room to deal with these stigma here. To do that, I suggest only getting rid of one of these care. If you get rid of one care, the damage done to the vitals will be relatively minimal, and you'll be able to just keep on working on the liver transplant without getting too distracted. If you get rid of both care, however, you'll continue with the mission, and more care will pop up, and then eventually it'll fuse, and you don't want to do that. So basically you just need to deal with the care, leave the care alone after you only have one out, then deal with the liver transplant as fast as possible. It's really just the best way to deal with it. I mean, occasionally go up and take care of some of the cuts that the care is dealing with. But after you take care of the liver operation, then that's when you want to go full throttle on the thing. Other than that, it's a relatively simple mission. It's just a matter of prioritizing what you need to do. Once you get the liver in, it's not really any harder than your standard care operation. I mean, actually, it's a little bit easier because this is another two-parter. I don't remember if I brought this up earlier, but we're operating both on that gorilla guy and on Kidman's crony here, so we need to take care of them both. And spoiler alert, both of them are going to have stigma, because Kidman has stigma, because I don't know. Anyway, the Care do actually get a new ability here. They can make tumors, because Tumor Creation Beam is the newest superpower in Stigma technology. I don't know. Anyway, dealing with, I would say, I would recommend exposing the tumors as quickly as possible, just so that you don't forget that they're there, because forgetting that a tumor there will lead to just a lot of vital loss over time, and that's bad. But you don't always have time to deal with it, so just keeping it out there will give you a reminder that that's why your vitals are going down at a faster rate. I guess that's an interesting new development for Care, the ability to create tumors. But then again, it's not like we haven't done the PAL procedure 1,000 times by now, so they're not really a whole lot to deal with. They're just sort of another nuisance to deal with, something that isn't cuts to treat while you're operating on them. And I guess it's nice for just the variety, and also just for the initial shock of you don't know what happened after that animation happened for the first time, so you're just sort of using the ultrasound in vein, you know, just like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? After a while, Elena will say that she's tracking tumors, so you will know to do that, but it's just, I guess it's just a way to add some variety to Care, because having to do a full Care operation on top of the liver transplant might get a little bit tedious, since again we've done Care a couple of times by now, and since it's also very similar to Kiriaki from Under the Knife, people might get bored, and you don't want that, so throwing in something to change up the pace, you know, I totally don't mind. It's cool by me. Anyway, after dealing with whoever we did first, I guess it doesn't really matter which guy we're doing. But anyway, we're going to use the same liver that we know has stigma on the other patient. Ugh. And another thing to get confused about, we basically just cut the liver in half, and then we put it into both people. Does science work that way? Because something tells me science is a little bit more complicated than that. Oh, we only have one liver, and we need to give it to both people. Cut it in half! Oh, we only have one lung, but we need to give it to two people. Cut it in half! We only have one leg, but we need to give it to two people. Cut it in half! You know, it doesn't seem to work in any other context that I can think of. So is the liver just that cool, that badass, or what? I don't know. And can't you live without a liver for at least a little while? I mean, if you patched him up and got him to a hospital, he probably would be okay. And there's got to be at least one hospital around here. There's a government facility right nearby, which means that there's got to be civilization somewhere. There's a hospital, most likely. Anyway, instead of dealing with Care in the second liver body, we are actually dealing with Onyx. Well, actually, we're dealing with Onyx and Care. So, what I actually recommend is taking care of the Onyx first. Again, take care of one Care and then deal with the Onyx. Because the Care is actually relatively, again, relatively inconsequential, but the Onyx can actually do some damage if you leave it alone. So, taking care of that Onyx first just makes everything a whole lot easier. I'd actually recommend taking care of the Onyx before you even finish the liver transplant. Leaving one Care alone's fine, but leaving that Onyx around to deal heavy damage is not a good idea. So, take care of that Onyx as soon as possible, use your hydro pumps, use your Geeka Drains, and then you'll pretty much be fine. Of course, the placement for the syringe on these veins and arteries is incredibly picky, but whatever. Oh, I guess I just should say don't completely forget about the Care, because as you saw right there, my vitals got dangerously low, and that's bad. So keep an eye on the Care. I mean, it's generally manageable if you're if there's only one there, but if you completely forget about it, you might run out of vitals, because making incisions and stuff like making the incisions that you need to make into the different arteries and veins and stuff does take away vitals, because using your scalpel on the body does take away vitals. That you need to keep an eye on your vitals is basically what I'm trying to say. Other than that, it's just more Care. Yeah. It gets a little bit tedious, I know, but it's not too bad. Your same strategies still apply, you know, focus on one until it's dead, then focus on the other one. Take care of the cuts as they appear, yada yada yada. Again, watch out for the tumors because these guys can do that too. In fact, I'm pretty sure every care we run into after this point can do tumors, so that's pretty important to know. In fact, but however, I'm not entirely sure if the combined care can do tumors, though. Something's telling me that they like made a whole bunch of tumors at once, kind of like how they make a whole bunch of cuts at once when they attack, but my memory's very fuzzy on that, so either they can do that or they just won't bother with tumors at all. Either way, the combined care is actually, I find, easier than the normal care because it's just a little bit less aggressive overall. And while it does more damage per attack, it attacks so much less frequently that it's really just not that much of a problem. I think it has a little bit more health too, but it's just easier to manage with one bad guy on a screen than two, you know? I don't get how fusing together, fusion, makes it a bigger threat in this instance. I mean, in other instances, sure, I can understand that, but in this one, not so much. Meh. Anyway, that operation, while not, like, game-breakingly hard, can give you trouble. Not only because of the unique procedure involved, but also because it's timed and it takes a lot of focus. If you take too much time to do it, you might actually run out. So just keep your cool, play fast, don't fall into any traps, keep a track of what stigma you're killing when and how much vitals you've gotten due to the transplant, and overall you should do a pretty good job. Your combo should skyrocket due to how many stuff you have to do in there, and because of that I managed to get a decent grade, an A. Though I won't get an S in this playthrough, which sucks.
It should put an end to the Kidman family and to the uncertainty of Professor Wilkinson's whereabouts as well.
Yes, because the Kidman family will not impact the plot at all until the end of the game. Seriously, they pretty much won't. They're pretty much done here. Although they don't, though that guy, the gorilla guy and the Kidman guy won't actually say anything plot revealing. We just had to save them because saving them means they go to justice, which means they sit in jail for 50 years instead of dying, which, according to you or not, might be better. I don't know, I'm not one to make a judge on that call. Anyway, next time we actually get to Chapter 7. I'm ExandShadow, and I'll see you guys later.